Hello and welcome to episode 53 of the SU Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Manning, and today we're going to be talking about knowing logically that you're good at your job. Now, this is an out and about episode. I recorded it for you when I was taking a walk and I was on my way to the park on a Tuesday morning because it's been raining a lot in the UK and I didn't know if it was just going to start raining again. So I was like, okay, I have to get out here. And I was inspired to record this episode for you. So I hope you're not mad with the audio content. You can hear trucks going by in the background. You might need to turn it up a little bit, but I kind of wanted to capture it in the wild. So enjoy today's episode, especially if you're somebody who would identify with that phrase, like, I know logically that I'm good at my job. I know deep down, but if there's any little bit of you that doesn't quite believe that or that doubts it, or you just don't feel that all of you is on the same page in relation to that. This is so many of my confidence coaching clients. So if this is you, this episode goes out to you. And I referred to private coaching with me in this episode. If you're interested in that, if you'd like to find out about it, I have a link in the show notes for you. You can click it and you can book a time to chat with me. It'll put it into your diary and my diary. And basically on that call, I'll listen to your challenges and you can tell me about the places where you'd like to feel more confident. And if I can help you, then I'll tell you about how we work together. Yeah, that's all. Enjoy the episode, and sorry if the sound quality is not the best, but... So, today I'm talking about knowing something logically, the difference between knowing something logically and knowing, right? Emphasis on that word knowing. What is the difference between knowing something logically and knowing something with your whole being? Right? Logically says, I know with the evidence, I know with my intellect that this thing is true. But when you tell me that you know it logically, I know you mean maybe all the evidence points to it. Maybe even deep down underneath everything, in a moment where I'm really still, I know. But there's somewhere within me where I don't know, or I don't yet believe. It's like I'm slightly at odds within myself. I have something I know logically, but there's some place when you tell me I know something logically, I know there's a place, some part within you which is at odds with that logic knowing. The reason that I'm talking about this on the podcast today is because this is a standard thing for people to say to me. So I coach people, I train people around feeling confident at work. And the people who come to me 9 times out of 10, probably slightly more than that even, will tell me I know logically that I am good at my job, that I am good at what I do, that I know my stuff. They know it logically. But there's some thing for them which, some area within them, some part of their being, which isn't quite aligned with that thing they know logically. Or even they might tell me, I know deep down. So it's like a truth that I know deep down within my being. I know it logically within my mind. I can see the evidence. But there's some part of me, there's some part of myself which, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to line up with this thing that I know logically. And maybe this is you, or maybe it isn't. And if this is you, I want you to really think about, actually no, scrap that. I don't want you to think about this. I just want you to let this wash over you. And just let this sink and see how it feels in your body. So, back to the reason why I'm doing this podcast. It's because most of my clients, 9 out of 10, maybe more, will come to me and say, I know logically that I'm good at my job. I know logically that I know what I'm doing. Okay, that doesn't mean everything's perfect. Doesn't mean that I couldn't get something wrong. Doesn't mean that I couldn't make a mistake. It just means that I know logically that there's a reason that I got this job. There's a reason that I'm in this role. There's a reason why I'm doing the thing that I'm doing. I know that other people trust me. Other people have faith in me. Other people believe in my capability, believe in my expertise, believe in my ability to do this thing that it is that I do for my work. I know it logically, and I think other people believe it. But there's this part of me which maybe doesn't quite believe it. There's this part of me which doubts myself, my knowledge, my expertise, my capability. Even when I know logically, there's this part of me that doubts and wonders, should I be here? Am I the best person to do this job? What would happen if they find out that maybe I don't know what I'm doing? Maybe I shouldn't be here. Right? You hear all those doubts. They're common doubts, right? I don't think that the evidence of some doubt is necessarily a problem or even necessarily a bad thing. But when someone's coming to me saying, I know logically that I'm good at my job, they're also saying to me, but I don't feel as confident as I would like to. And maybe that's as confident in raising my hand, as confident in speaking up, as confident in challenging, as confident in making a quick decision, as confident in delegating and letting some things go to other people, as confident presenting to that board, as confident, sharing my expertise and my knowledge, right? So whilst I know logically that I'm good at my job, I don't feel
as confident as I would like to. So what's going on? If you know it logically, and even some people will tell me, and deep down, I do know it. So many of my clients, when they come, will tell me that. And we'll set a goal, which is, it's not like a SMART type goal. It's more an indication of like who or how do you want to be? What is it that you want to believe and know about yourself when you've got to where you want to get to, right? You're hiring me because I can help you to get a transformation. What is that transformation that you want? Who are you on the other side of that transformation? What do you now not just know logically, but really know within your being and feel comfortable just saying yes? Instead of telling me, I know logically that I'm good at my job, but you'll just tell me, I am good at my job. I've got this. Right? Oh, it feels calm saying that, doesn't it? I've got this. I've had quite a few clients who've had that as their goal. I've got this. Right? Feels like a really settled, calm feeling. It's a knowing. It's a trust. I know logically I'm good at my job, and I've got, right? It's a kind of calm, certain, confident, relaxed kind of energy. Right? That's where people want to get to. That, as well as knowing it logically, they just feel okay with, I just know it. I'm good. Maybe I don't, I probably don't, or the clients that I work with, right? It's a nice, usually fairly self-effacing people. They're probably not the kind of people, maybe you're not the kind of person that's going to be going around being like, yeah, I'm great at my job all the time. I mean, maybe in an interview situation, you're going to need to be able to say to somebody with confidence and with conviction, I am good at what I do. I can lead this team. I can create this strategy. I can deliver this project, whatever it is. You're probably going to need to say that with some certainty and with some confidence. And you probably want to be able to. And even thinking of working with clients, right? If you do client work, you're going to want to be able to say to a client, I have got this for you. You want them to feel calm, to feel confident, to feel secure. So you want to be able to feel it within yourself, and you want to be able to say it when it's appropriate for you to say it. You want to be able to say it, Oh, why should we promote you to partner here, Kate? Well, because I'm really good at what I do. Right? You don't want to freeze up in that moment and be like, oh my God, I can't talk about it. It's embarrassing. It's cringe. You just want to be able to tell the truth. If it's the truth. Right? You just want to be able to say it. And say it from a place of knowing it. Not from a place of it being like some bullshit, puffed up nonsense. And you know it is for some people, right? You probably know those people. But if it isn't bullshit, puffed up nonsense for you, if it is actually the truth, the evidenced truth, then it feels like you're the one that should be able to know it and should be able to say it. And I think that you can. My evidence is that I feel very confident saying to people, you can go from knowing it logically, that you're good at what you do, to really knowing it. So not really doubting it anymore. To feeling just that that's true for you. For feeling, I've got this. For feeling more calm and more confident and more secure within yourself to really being able to recognize your capability and your expertise, you can go from knowing it logically to having all of that. And you know what? It's not that far a jump. Most people that I work with, that I coach with one-on-one, I coach them for 3 months. Now, they might have had a career that's like 30 years before then, maybe even longer, maybe shorter. And they go from knowing it logically to actually knowing it, to actually believing it. It just becomes, to be honest, kind of a non-issue. Something that they won't have to think about anymore, something that they won't have to stress about anymore. Thank God, right? Your work life is challenging enough without you having to spend your precious brain energy and time wondering, do I know what I'm doing? Am I good enough? Should I be here? Like, my goodness. My goodness. I'm guessing that your work life is pretty challenging. I do not want you to have to waste your precious time and precious energy also fighting with that bit inside you which isn't quite convinced. The bit which seems like it is in revolt with the bit of you that knows it logically. The bit of you that would be unsure, the bit of you that would argue, the bit that maybe even would downright call you out for that and be like, what the hell were you thinking? You've never known what you're doing, right? I don't want you to have to battle with that bit for the rest of your career. Because frankly, you've got stuff you want to do. You've got things you want to achieve. You've got, work that needs to be done. You've got people you need to lead. You've got projects you need to complete. You've got transformations of organizations, of teams, of departments. You've got patients you need to care for. You have clients you need to look after. You've got deals you need to do. All of that. The work. Don't be in a position where you also have to do a load of work within yourself, right? Which, let's face it, doesn't add to anything. It takes away from it, if anything, because it takes energy and it takes time to have this bit of you that doesn't quite believe it. Doesn't quite believe you're good at your job. It doesn't quite believe that you are there for a reason. That doesn't quite believe that you should be there, or you're the right or the best person to be there. All that takes energy, and it takes time, and it takes away from what it is you're there to do. And it also takes away from your life. Right? If you've listened to last week's podcast, you would have heard me talking to Daniela about how she would spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours preparing for a presentation to update somebody on work that she knew intimately because it was her work. She knew it, and nobody knew it better than her. And she would spend hours and hours and hours. And she described how she would cancel a dinner with friends and be up until midnight rehearsing that presentation so that everything was perfect. The only reason she was doing that was because there was part of her that didn't quite believe. So she knew logically that she was good at her job. She got promotion after promotion after promotion. But even that hadn't quite convinced that part of her that didn't quite believe that she was good at her job. And she was. And as soon as she realised and she knew within herself, yes, not only do I know it logically, I know it now. I believe it now. I believe in me. Once she knew that, she could stop preparing hours. She could stop cancelling dinner plans with friends. She could stop having this constant internal battle on the inside, which frankly exhausted her and might be exhausting you. You do not need to have this for your entire career. The evidence tells me that if you come and work with me for 3 months, you can get rid of it. You can align what you know logically with what you really know in your heart to be true and what you really believe and you're able to act on a day-to-day basis. It's good odds. Now, not all of you are going to come and work with me privately. Not all of you are going to come and work with me one-on-one. That's fine. So what do you guys do? You want to come and work with me and have me hold your hand and take you through this process? I would love to do that with you. Let's go from you knowing logically to you knowing it in your heart and being able to say, yes, I'm good at my job. I feel like a big relax in my tummy when I say that and a smile comes to my face. But for those of you who are not going to come and work with me one-on-one, what are you going to come and do? Well, the first thing that you can do is sign up for the next Grow Your Professional Confidence Masterclass. Because in that, I'm going to be teaching you about self-criticism, about self-doubt, about having standards which can't be reached, about acknowledging yourself and giving yourself feedback. I'm going to be talking about creating a good environment, creating a good internal environment that this stuff springs from. Imagine confidence is like a flower. Well, I'm going to help you to think about how you get the conditions right for that flower to grow. Because if you're already good at your job, there's nothing wrong with the flower, right? The flower can bloom given the right conditions. And in that class, I'm going to help you think about what conditions are you currently trying to grow that confidence flower in, and what do the conditions need to be like in order for that flower to grow to its most beautiful, its most luscious, its most perfumed, right? What conditions do you need to create? And you can create them on purpose, so come and take that class with me. And the other thing that you can do, right, some of this is just simple, I say simple. Some of this is just rewiring, right? So you have a current way of thinking about yourself, which is, maybe I shouldn't be here, maybe I'm not that good at my job, maybe somebody else would be better. But if you actually are good at your job and you know that logically, you already have the evidence. So I want you to start taking account of that evidence. Start noticing that evidence, because at the moment you're not going to be noticing that evidence. Your brain is going to be discounting that evidence in favour of doubt, fear, supposition, right? So I want you to start looking at the evidence. Start trying to build the case for why you are good at your job. And do that with some intentionality, because what we know is that your brain is constantly rewiring throughout your life. If you've been to any of my classes, you'll have heard me talk about neuroplasticity. Your brain, well, this is a concept which describes not the function, what's the way of saying it? It describes the ability of your brain to rewire, to create new neural pathways and to strengthen weakened neural pathways so that you can learn new things, think new things and do new things. Rewiring your brain in relation to something you're already thinking, believing and a habit, you can do just like you can learn how to play the guitar, or you can, learn how to paint your nails neatly, whatever, right? You're just creating new neural pathways in the brain, or strengthening neural pathways that are already there, and maybe using the old neural pathways of constantly doubting, a little bit less. And every time you use them less, the neural pathway gets weaker. And over time, the neural pathways you want, so the habits that you want of believing it and noticing your achievements and why you are where you are, that will get stronger and stronger, and the other ones will get weaker and weaker. And eventually, when they get weak, if they don't get used, they get pruned. Your brain is really a fabulous tool. Like, the most fabulous thing. I like a bit of astrophysics, even though I couldn't even really do GCSE physics, let's be right. Although I got a B, so I shouldn't say I couldn't do it. But, I'm not that good at maths, it's not my thing. But I love reading about astrophysics. And one of the things that I read in a book that I was reading was that astrophysicists will say that the brain is the most complex structure in the known universe. Wow. The most complex structure in the known universe is sitting between your ears. Like, wow. I mean, look at the universe. Stars, planets, space, dark matter, black holes, unbelievable beauty and complexity, and the most complex thing of all is sitting between your ears. Now, that might make it more, that might be why humans are such curious creatures, but that most beautiful, complex structure that you've got sitting between your ears is perfectly constructed to rewire. So if you want to go from knowing logically that you're good at your job to just knowing that you're good at your job, period, you can, and just know that your brain is perfectly positioned to help you to do it. Alright, that's what I've got for you today. I will see you in next week's episode. Bye.